Hello, everyone. Today we have with us someone really amazing, someone really to look forward to in Paris 2024 Olympic Games in the men's high jump event. Probably, if I say that he is the current world indoor champion in the high jump event, he is a reigning Commonwealth Games champion in the high jump event, someone who can really pull up a surprise at the Paris Olympic Games. My pleasure to welcome Hamish Kerr. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank
Really
you.
nice to have you here.
I'm looking forward to having a little chat. It's going to be great.
Amazing, amazing, brother. So Paris 2024, as we all know, is like inching very closer. And now you're on your last stop before Paris at London, and you'll be competing at the London Diamond League tomorrow. So how excited are you? How are your preparations? Just let the fans know about your preparations and how excited are you for the Paris Olympic Games?
Yeah, like my preparations are going really good. Like I have been competing really well. I jumped equal outdoor personal best last week in Monaco to win the Diamond League there, and I think that my season this year has. I think in the past, I have some good performances, and I start thinking like maybe I'm not going to be able to continue this because it's so high intensity. But this year, for a few reasons, I have just continued to get better and better, and I'm really excited for the next few weeks because I think that I've got a really good chance of doing some really good jumps in Paris.
Great, great, great. That's so amazing to know, brother. And tomorrow, the field in the London Diamond League, like, it will be more or less similar to the Olympic Games. The field will be like almost similar to the Olympic Games final, minus your Marco, hopefully. So, how excited are you for the Diamond League tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, look, Diamond League is such an amazing thing for our sport. I love competing in Diamond League, and I think that our sport is funny because you go to an Olympics and there's 32 athletes in the high jump competing, and even more in other events. Whereas you come to a Diamond League and there's only 8 people, so it's almost a more exclusive version of the Olympics. So
Exactly.
it's always amazing to compete. I'm very lucky that I get to compete on these meets, but yeah, it's also great because I kind of get to have a look at what my competitors are up to this close to the games as well. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on how well they're jumping, and I know that especially people like Mutaz, they're going to be jumping really good. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah, we are all looking forward for the Diamond League tomorrow, brother, because Mutaz, you, Javon, like it should be one hell of a competition. So, and it will be a great build up towards Paris as well. And also, yeah, you will be like high on confidence with your World Indoor Championship gold with like 236. Incredible. Like I was watching that competition live, like 228, 231, 234, 236, one fall, and then 236. Yes, you clear in the second hit, and then you roared. Like it was like your PB and you roared. And hopefully, and like it was New Zealand's best ever performances in the World Indoor Championship because they had like 2 gold medals. So like, please take us to the World Championship, bro. Like, how did it feel like when you became the world champion? It would have been amazing for sure.
Yeah, it was such a special day. I think, going into it, I come from New Zealand, and obviously, in the sort of the European winter, I suppose we have summer, and so that means that back home we actually have a little domestic season throughout kind of December, January, February. And so I hadn't done any indoor competitions leading into World Indoors, but I had done a little bit of outdoor competing back home. And I think that I had some good performances, but I didn't jump over 230 or anything back home, but I knew that it was coming, and I knew there was some really good stuff that we were working on. And so I think going to Glasgow, I was confident of a good jump, and I knew that I really wanted to make the most of that time I had there. I knew that once I finished competition, I would have to jump on a plane and fly 24 hours home. And by the time I got home, my legs would probably not be in good form again. And so I really wanted to make the most of it. And so I think that was what really kind of spurred me on. I obviously knew that I was a world champion when I was attempting that 2 meters 36, and I knew that irrespective of whether I cleared it, I was still going to be the world champion. But I also really wanted to make sure that I jumped really high before I got on that plane and flew all the way home. So yeah, it was just such a special moment, and I think that was what really shocked me was not just winning the competition, but also doing it in 236, which was a jump that I'd only really dreamed ever about jumping. I never kind of thought that it would be fully possible. So it's kind of made me realize that there is so much more potential, and I've definitely got more in the legs. And then as you said, that day was kind of topped off by the fact that we also won the men's 1500 meter, and he, Geordie, who won it, is a really good friend of mine. So for us to both kind of share that same day of becoming world champions for the first time was so special.
Wow, that was amazing, bro. Like as you said, like before coming into Glasgow, like you didn't have a jump, like you didn't have a competition with 230 plus jump. But like as we jumpers, like I'm also a jumper, so I know like jumping is all about having that feeling in that particular day. If you feel good, like if you feel good with certain aspects of your technique, if you feel with your speed, with your takeoff and everything, like you just fly. So what went that day? Like what went good that day? Like you were just flying. It was just a one man show. After 228, it was just you. It was just Hamish Kerr who was just jumping. Like you had 228, 231, 234, and 236. Like it was just a one-man show basically at Glasgow. So how were you feeling that? Like, can you explain that feeling in terms of like to the audience? Like, what was special that day? You said that it was something
I
special in
think
your legs.
I think that in the months leading up to it, I had probably achieved all the bits of the jump that I wanted to achieve. I had some jumps with so I had some jumps with really good run ups, and I had some jumps with there was lots of good things that had happened, but none of them happened at the same jump. And that's obviously the hard thing with field events and high jump and long jump and pole vault. And it's putting the whole performance together. And so I think that for me, it was about just having the confidence that when I was put in that really high pressure situation, and when I had an amazing crowd to support me, and I knew that I really needed to execute a big performance, that all those pieces would fit together. And I think pretty quickly in that competition, at the lower heights, I realized that those things were all clicking together. And when you're in that space, it's just feels so exciting because you take off and you just don't feel like you're ever coming down again. Like you just keep going up and up and up. And
Wow.
what was also great, it just feels like you're flying. So it's so cool. But also what was special was like I was getting every first attempt. And so I
Wow.
get to sit down and just relax and just kind of watch what the crowd's doing and just maintain my energy while everyone else was kind of getting second or third attempts. So I think that that run that I got on to and getting first attempts and just getting really good clearances kind of almost crushed the competition a little bit, because everyone was really struggling, and then the next round would come and I'd just pop over at first attempt and everyone else would have to start again. So I sort of didn't really give those guys much to work with, and I think that also really spurred me on, because I knew how much of a kind of commanding position I was in the competition. And so I was just focusing on jumping as high as possible, and that was really high on that day.
Wow. So it was just like it was not just a one-man show. You just set the tone for the competition right from the beginning. Amazing to know that, brother. That's superb. And also, brother, like I just wanted to take a few years back to Tokyo. Like you had an amazing Olympics for sure, because like in Tokyo you were in the final, you were in 10th, and that year you did in the Olympics you did 230 and had a PB of 231. 2022 again you have World Indoor Championships bronze medal in Belgrade with 231 again, Commonwealth Games champion, and my very close friend had bronze medal with your Commonwealth Games, Tejaswin Shankar. And in 2023, last year, you had a great indoor season,
Yeah, TJ.
234. Yeah, TJ. He used to tell me, like, he used to share the moments you had with him during the Commonwealth Games as well. Pretty chill evening at Birmingham, and you guys were like going like toe to toe, head to head. It was amazing competitions, bro.
Yeah, it was special.
And bro, in 2023, like last year, like just 1 week after Budapest, like I pretty understand that okay, Budapest didn't win as you expected, but like 1 week after Budapest, like you jumped 233 in the Zurich. I was there in
Yeah.
the Diamond League as well. Like, how did you feel, bro? Like 233, just 1 week after the World Championship. Like, how did it feel? Like you wish you would have definitely wished that this happened like a week before.
Yeah, it was pretty bittersweet. Like I think I was obviously really happy that I did do it, but I was obviously pissed off that I didn't do it the week before. Um so yeah, I think the thing was is like and that's probably one of the biggest things that's changed this year versus previous years is I think in the past, like I kind of didn't take a lot of ownership for my jumping and really sort of let my coach do a lot of the decision making around what we were trying to achieve, and then I probably didn't spend enough time really believing in the process. And so I think that in really hard times like in Budapest where I didn't make the final, and then obviously a week later I jumped really well, like I was in good form, but I think that I just didn't trust the fact that I was in good form. And so that was quite a hard place. And so that's the big change that I've kind of made this year is I'm actually with a new coach now, and we've worked really, really hard on our communication and really understanding that, if he decides something and he wants me to work on something, that I can ask as many questions as I want and I can really get my head around like what that looks like. But then at a certain point, those questions go away and I just have to fully commit to what I'm doing. So yeah, I think I'm really lucky that I'm in a position that I can do that for my coach. But yeah, it's definitely been a massive game changer for me of just knowing that when I go to a comp, even if I don't get a good outcome, the thinking and the thoughts and everything that kind of goes into that performance is being looked at, and we can really learn from it.
Wow, that's amazing, bro. And 2024, as you said, like by far the best season of your career. And like, is there any particular mark you're like chasing this season? Like, because
Ah,
we have had great marks, so there'll be. Is there any one particular mark you will be chasing? And if you feel free to share with the fans.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, in November, I sat down with my new coach. We hadn't even really started training yet, and we talked about our goals. And he said that, well, I said, but I said to him, and he agreed with me. But we decided that I could jump 238 this year, and
Wow.
that was when I personal best to 234. So that was before I did my 236. It was before any of this kind of stuff happened, and so yeah, 238 was a mark I was really chasing, and then also the other goal was to get a medal at the Olympics. So yeah, I haven't achieved either of those goals yet, so my season is not a success, but I'm getting much closer than I was, so I'm really happy about that.
You had an incredible season so far, bro, and we are just super excited for you in Paris. Also, we just high men's high jump will be one event like that'll be uh pretty much hyped up because your Marco, Mutaz, Jovan, like it should be like one hell of a competition which we are like really excited for at Paris.
I think what's really exciting about men's high jump as well is like you said, there could be kind of like six guys who would get a medal on any given day. Like it's not
Exactly.
like there's two or three. There is literally there's Mutaz, there's Jimbo, there's me, there's Shelby, there's Siobhan Harrison, there's Wu, there's so many different guys who could do a massive performance. But what's also special is that all of those guys are we have completely different personalities, and we all love like getting the crowd involved, but in like kind of different ways. So from a kind of perspective of a spectator, like if you're going to sit there and watch that high jump competition, like doesn't matter what happens, it's going to be crazy. So I think that in terms of just like being able to like be a part of that is something that I'm so excited about.
Wow, superb, bro. That's amazing to know. Bro, the fans would really love to know about your training and technique, especially like since you've said that you have moved with a new coach and they just want to know like what it takes to be a world champion in terms of the training regimen. Like how do you train? Like how often do you lift? Like how often do you jump? So these are the small things like Indian fans, like they're like crazy. So in India, there is a perception that you have to jump like 3 or 4 times a week, and then you have to go like heavy every day with the weights, with the training. So that's obviously then the mindset of all the athletes and a lot of coaches. So like overtraining or overworking is one factor we always try to like kind of address. Like as a professional athlete, we say like body has to be given enough recovery and training has to be monitored, training has to be done properly to all the coaches at grassroots level. So if you could explain like your training regimen, like how do you train, how often do you lift, how often do you give time for your body to recoup and recover, it'll be great for the fans.
Yeah, I mean, we follow a relatively similar like weekly schedule, no matter what time of year we are, unless we are in sort of like really heavy competition. And that week looks like uh, we gym on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
Okay.
and we jump on Tuesday and Saturday, and then on Thursday we do like running and bounding. And so, and then Sunday we have rest day every week. So not massive. The gym sessions on like Monday and Wednesday are usually pretty heavy gym sessions. So we would be doing like maybe a heavy squat or a deadlift, and then a bunch of other kind of like small other exercises in and around that stuff. So that's usually about a 2 hour session. My jump session on Tuesday would probably be more around like run ups and technique. Then the Thursday session could be running. Sometimes it's not even at the track. Sometimes we'll go to like our local hill or our steps, and we'll run up the steps and run up the hills. So it's kind of like in a way, like after 4 days of training, I feel like I need something to just like mix it up a little bit. So that's why
Wow.
we often go away and like get into the nature and to go to the park and just relax almost a little bit. And then Friday gym session is much more around like core work and posture. And the reason that we do that is because then Saturday jump session is like the biggest jump session of the week. And that's the one that we really try and like go high intensity and really push ourselves really hard. So yeah, and then most important day of the week is Sunday because it means I get to sleep in, with my girlfriend and just relax and just go and have a coffee and a nice meal and just be chill. So like I think that that's also super important as an athlete. And I think for me, like what I kind of see as my journey has kind of progressed is anyone can work hard. Like people think that like working hard is like obviously it's important and obviously everyone needs to work hard, but like it's more important to work hard and then also recover hard than it is just to work hard. So for me, like when I'm not training, I'm making sure that I'm eating like so much food just to make sure that I'm staying healthy and uninjured. And I make sure that I sleep at least 8, 9 hours a night. Like that's just an absolute non-negotiable for me. And those are the things that I'm really, really like obsessed by. And it's also just recognizing that like the life of an athlete is just so boring at times. Like you can't just week do a different like exercise and then like think that in 2 weeks time it's going to do something. Like you literally just have to do like 2 months of the exact same training and then maybe at the end something's going to happen and maybe it doesn't. And I suppose that's like that's the hard part about being an athlete is understanding that like there is definitely a point where your body has to like grow and recover and just build. And yeah, also just like at the end of it, you can't just expect that something good is going to happen because often it doesn't.
Amazing, bro. That was a very insightful answer. The fans would really love it, and I hope all the fans would grasp everything out of it. Like that was one superb, insightful answer. Thank you so much for that answer, brother. And if you
That's
would
all
say
good.
that, like one like a mix of key ingredients to become a successful high jumper, like how do you define it? Like equal aspects of like what special ingredients would you think will make an ideal high jumper?
Well, firstly, you have to be tall. I think that's probably the most important thing. For me, I'm 6'6", so I'm probably the tallest, well, one of the tallest guys who jumps. But most guys are around about 190, so that's about 6'3", I think. So you do have to be tall, but I think in terms of like physical ability, like you have to obviously be very powerful and very strong. And then you also have to be able to run really fast throughout your curve and your run up to be able to generate the enough force to be able to translate into upwards momentum. So yeah, it's all about power to weight ratio. So obviously the smaller you are, you don't have to be as strong, and then the heavier you are, the stronger you have to be. So yeah, there's sort of a little bit of a balance. That's the cool thing as well though with high jump is, there's guys who are really fast and really light, and then there's guys who are slightly heavier and much stronger. There's sort of a few different ways that you can actually achieve height in high jump. And so that's what's quite cool is all the guys I competed against, we all jump very differently, but essentially we all achieve the same result. So it's quite cool.
Wow, superb, superb, bro. Also, can you just take us through the mental aspect of being a professional athlete? Like how important is the mental training? Because just now, like when we discussed about the Budapest, like we were in good shape, but like you were not able to like capitalize that shape or like even recognize the fact that you were in good shape. But like just a week after Budapest, like you were amazing in Zurich. So how important is mental preparation, especially when big things are at stake? For example, like in Paris, like the Olympic Games, it's the biggest sporting event ever, and the prize and the things are at high stakes. So, how do you define like the mental aspect of training, mental aspect of preparing towards the main event? Do you, how does your team work on that?
Yeah, it's for me, I think one of the hardest parts of being a professional athlete is obviously the mental side. And there's a few reasons for that. Obviously you want to do your best at all times. That's something that as athletes, we're very competitive. We always want to win and we want to do so well. And I think that for me, it's about really understanding what matters and understanding what makes me have the freedom to jump the best. And I think that if we use Budapest versus Zurich as an example, it's a pretty good one. Like going into Budapest, was I was spending a lot of time thinking about the competition and the potential of doing well and what would happen if I medaled and what would happen if this happened. And there was all these things that going around in my head which I couldn't control. I was trying to spend a lot of time wasting energy on those things. And then I think that when I was in that competition, I had like one or two bad attempts at heights, and for me, it made me crumble. I then suddenly started to think of all the negative things. I started thinking about was I good enough, and all these various other things, and my mental game just meant essentially I didn't want to be there, and so I ended up failing my heights because I didn't want to be there. Whereas I then went on holiday for a week, think about athletics the whole time.
Wow.
We went to Croatia and I went swimming twice a day and we ate lots of really good food and we just enjoyed our company and presence and then I went into Zurich and I was happy. I wanted to jump. I knew that after that time of reflection, I realized how lucky I was to be able to be a high jumper and be an athlete. And I realized that irrespective of whether I do well or not, if I did a performance that I was proud of, not what other people were proud of, if I was proud of that performance, then that was going to be enough for me. And sure enough, I jumped 233 and did an outdoor PB. So yeah, I guess that's what I really think about now is like, what do I need to do to feel like I want to be here? And if I want to be here, I know that I'm going to jump well. And if I don't want to be here, I know that I'm not going to jump well. So yeah, it's all about just like wanting to be here and just enjoying being here.
Wow, bro. So all it took was like one vacation to Croatia, twice swimming a day, and then you're just back to like the best in the world. That was
Yeah,
super
so
amazing.
I tell my coach that now before every big competition, I need to go on a holiday for 2 weeks, but he says maybe not quite like that.
Maybe after London you take a break to Croatia again.
Yeah, I maybe not after London, but definitely after the Olympics.
Superb, superb, bro. Bro, just recently we have seen Mutaz. He just announced on Instagram and his social media handles that this will be his last Olympic Games. And like Mutaz is someone who has been consistently doing it, and inarguably like one of the greats, like the goated person in men's high jump event, because from London, Rio, Tokyo, and now in Paris, like he's going as the favorite. He's medal everywhere, and he's going as the favorite, the world champion, and he has won like almost everything in high jump. So, what do you think is special about Mutaz? Like Mutaz as a person, Mutaz as an athlete.
Oh, Mutaz, what a man. I he's the high jump goat to me. Like, I remember in high school watching him the first time he jumped 240 and just thinking like, wow, this guy is just like the best high jump I've ever seen. I think that he like nobody's built like Mutaz. Like that's the thing is like doesn't matter how much training you do or like how well you are, like peak Mutaz is just like unattainable. Like
Wow.
the power that he was able to like generate and the amount of like lift that he gets off the ground is just like it just like defies physics. And I think that his longevity as well in the sport is probably his most impressive kind of feat. The number of years that he's jumped over 240 is just like it's a crazy statistic. I think it was like 11 years or something at one point
Yeah.
that he successfully jumped 240, which just is completely mind blowing. And so I think yeah, like for me, I'm just so grateful that I get to compete with him nearing the end of his career. Like there's never in a million years that I think that I'd be able to share the the high jump run up with Mutaz, and so that's something that's super cool. And what's also amazing is like now I know him, I realize like he's just such a nice guy. He supports all the athletes and he makes everyone feel welcomed. Like I remember my first Diamond League, which was actually London Diamond League in 2019, and he was competing and he came around and just like shook everyone's hands and like wished everyone luck, and like I was just completely starstruck, but at the same time, like I think that's just Mutaz. Like he's just the nicest guy. He just loves high jumps. So yeah, like I'm gonna be real sad to see him go, but I think at the same time, like he's still got some really good jumps in him, and yeah, he's gonna be pretty hard to beat in the next few weeks, that's for sure.
Wow, it's such a gem of a person, and even I have had the privilege of like sharing some moments with him during the competition. In fact, after Zurich Diamond League, and he's such an amazing character, bro. It's such a gem of a person he is. And since I'm in Doha right now, and like the way the athletes tell about him and the way the people in Qatar treat him is like super incredible. He's like the most decorated, one of the most decorated person in Qatar. So Mutaz is
He's
always
a legend.
amazing person in Qatar. So, brother, in the recently held Paris Diamond League, like we have seen Mahochik jumping 210 and just not breaking, like shattering the women's high jump world record. Like, did you expect that to happen?
Um, it was funny. We were competing at the same time in the Netherlands at FPK Games, and we were me and Brandon Stark and a couple of others were watching the live stream when she jumped, I think 2 meters, and she looked so good. Like she looked really good. But then we turned off the live stream and we got into our warm up, and then we checked back and like an hour later, and she'd broken the world record. And I think like we were all just so shocked. Like it's amazing. Like I knew that she was capable of it. Like I knew that like the jumps that she's done have been so close to it, just not at the right heights. But I think that to actually see that happen was so crazy. Like it's just so cool. Like she's such an amazing high jumper and obviously works so hard and is the go-to female high jumping. And so yeah, to see her get that world record was so special. And I think as a high jumper as well, like just understanding that like the mental ability that you have to be able to like kind of overcome that barrier, especially when she has attempted it so many times and not gotten it is just so special. So yeah, I mean, I once I got over my shock of the fact that it had been broken, like I definitely wasn't surprised, but at the same time, like it was pretty cool to see.
Wow, bro! Like my father called me from home, and he was like, "I think Mahochik is jumping the world record. Like she's attempting the world record." I was like, "Okay, like I think I know she did her PB, but like 210, like do you think it's too much?" Then I was just checking live and like boom, she just jumped out of nowhere. Like I was shouting from here and my dad was shouting back from India. It was crazy, bro. Like I hope like could we like do you think like any another surprise at Paris from Mahochik?
Um, yeah, I think yes, but also like I think that you could see a surprise from one of those other female high jumpers as well. Like I know Nicola McDermott really well, and
Yeah.
I know how good of a high jumper she is. I think Mahuchik has definitely got the edge right now, and I think that she could go higher. But I also wouldn't be surprised if someone else gets close to 210 as well. So I think that in the next couple of years, female high jumping is going to be so competitive. I think that they're in a real position where, I mean, you even put Angeline Topic in there as well. And in 3 years, you could have three girls all jumping 205 plus in like every competition, which I think for the sport is just so exciting. And for the event, it's just like crazy to think that that's even possible.
Wow, like few years back, like 205, like when Lasitsky Maria, like when she was doing like 205, 206 consistently, like we were all in shock, like okay, how is she jumping this good? And like she was way ahead of her competitors. And now like Mahochik was always there. She was jumping 203, 204, 203, 204, 202, and then now she's like 210 in the league of her own. Like it's amazing to see how the sport is growing. Like, and in fact, with all the issues that are happening in Ukraine, she's having the team is having that mental composure to train, to perform, to be consistent, and to break the world record. And amidst all this happening in our country, like it's amazing, like super amazing, bro.
Yeah, it definitely makes me feel like my job is much easier when I can go home. And I think that, yeah, like you said, like just the barriers that they've had to overcome the last few years to compete is just amazing. I mean, I compete with some of the Ukrainian male high jumpers, and talking to them about their experiences, it's pretty special that they've been able to do the performances they do. And so I think that Mahucha can be so proud of her world record, and it's definitely something that she'll be using to really like help Ukraine get put on the map. So yeah, good on her.
Big respect to all Ukrainian athletes. Big respect, bro. And also athletes like Tom Walsh, Valerie Adams, you, even Jordy Beamish, like you have been taken like New Zealand athletics to a different level right now. So how influential are you to the younger generation of the upcoming New Zealand athletes? Because New Zealand is basically like, we all know that New Zealand, when the first thing in sport which we feel when we say New Zealand is like rugby. So
Yeah.
how do you feel like you are able to take the New Zealand sport uh, to a new perspective after the rugby? Like how confident are you, or how do you feel like taking the athletics in New Zealand to a whole different level?
Yeah, I mean, like I think New Zealand loves sports. That's something that we do. But I think that what we love about sport is playing sport. We're not the kind of country like America who they have a lot of supporters who go to watch the games. Like we much more prefer to do sport and get outside and actually move and enjoy it. And I think that the great thing about track and field is it's so accessible. There's so many people who now do running and who do athletics back home, and it's because like they've been inspired. But I think also like we've got quite a rich history in athletics. We had a number of distance running like world record holders and gold medalists from back in the kind of 50s and 60s, with kind of guys like Peter Snell and Murray Halberg
Yeah.
and John Walker. And so like I think that that's kind of like where a lot of New Zealanders understand athletics. They kind of think that we do a lot of distance running, but I think that also what's so special now is that we have so many different people from different events. Like you said, you've got shot putters like Tom and Val, and you've got high jumpers, and you've got distance runners, and we've got a few sprinters and a few other events as well. So it's I think what's special is like young people at home now who watch athletics on the TV, they don't just see like one role model in one event. They can kind of connect with anybody. And that was one of the because that was one of the big things for me was like when I came into the sport as a young athlete, we didn't have any high jumpers. And so I never saw what I do as like a career path or something that I could be better at because the best guy that I ever saw was like jumping 210. And so if I only saw someone jumping 210, then how was I to know that potentially one day I could be jumping so much higher? And so now I think that's what's special is that you jump on any New Zealander or anyone in the world really, they jump on the TV, they can see someone from their country, and that's what's so special about our sport is there's so every country is represented, and everyone has sort of a success story that they can really aspire to be.
Wow, that's super inspirational, bro. And big congratulations to you, because you have taken New Zealand sport, like New Zealand athletics, even beyond what they expected, even something more than just an athletics, even closer to rugby. So super proud of you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Bro, we're just moving to the last part of this podcast. We're just moving to some few rapid fire questions. So I'll be just shooting some questions and just answer them in like one word or like probably one sentence.
Go for it.
So the first question I just wanted to ask you is, which sport, apart from the high jump event, men's high jump, are you most excited for at Paris?
Oh, cycling.
Cycling. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've been watching the Tour de France at the moment, so yeah. Don't judge me.
Wow. No, I was expecting something from athletics. Okay, this is an amazing answer, bro. Superb. So the next question is, if you are in the high jumper, like if you were in the high jumper, like which event would you be doing?
Oh, probably 400 meters.
400 meters. May I know like why?
I think like I used to do running when I was younger, and I feel like I'm quite fast, and since I'm tall, I have really good stride length. So yeah, that event sucks, but I think it's probably the one I'd be best at.
Wow, superb. Your favorite city or favorite competition to compete in?
Ooh, I have two. Zurich Diamond League and Monaco Diamond League,
Wow.
and because the crowds are so amazing there, and I jump well there.
Yeah, because you have done 233 recently in Monaco, and Zurich again, you some
Yeah,
233 after Budapest.
I have competed there more than once, but still.
Superb, superb. One food you would like to try in Paris, especially in Paris, because like Paris have got like amazing cuisine. So is there any one food or one dish in your mind you would like to try in Paris?
I haven't really thought that far. I haven't been eating much recently. I've been trying to keep my weight down. So anytime I think of food, just makes me sad. Um, but maybe I think like we have a lot of like in New Zealand, we have a lot of like croissants and like pastries and things that are kind of based off French food. So I
Wow.
think I want to try like their versions of those and see what it's really like.
Superb, superb. Bro, one athlete friend whom you can go on a war with. Like you can just take him on with you on a
Uh,
war, like you can fight everyone. Like who will be that one athlete friend?
oh, probably one of my like closest friends on tour is Thomas Kamui, who's the Belgian high jumper. He's just
Wow.
the most funny guy, and I always room with him, and he's just so crack up. So yeah, if I had to go to war with someone, it would probably be him, and I'd probably let him fight, and I'd run away.
So hopefully he hears this podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Bro, just one last message to the Indian fans, because like Indian fans are like very crazy about track and field, and they obviously know you because you have been competing with TJ, and then now you have been the world champion. You're going to the Olympic Games, so they all want you to do really good at Paris. And after this podcast, I really know that you are in the perfect mindset and perfect mind space to compete in Paris and to just go for the podium. So, what is there one message you would like to give to the Indian fans?
Yes, there is. There are no Indian high jumpers in the Olympics this year,
Yeah.
so they can all support me, please.
Yes.
And if if they do, then I will love them for it, and I will come and visit them one day.
Definitely. We are all looking forward for you to come to India one day and compete. There are a lot of good high jumpers coming in. I think we have one high jumper competing in Paris. It's not TJ, but we have Sarvesh. He's a
Oh, you
one high
do?
jumper.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we have one high jumper from India. So hopefully he'll meet you, and hopefully he'll share a great moment, great Olympic moments with you. And we are all very
I have to
eager
say,
to.
one of my best friends,
Yeah, yes, bro. Please continue.
one of my best friends from university, one of my best friends from university, he's from India.
Wow.
He moved to New Zealand when he was like 9 years old, and so my goal has, and we've talked about it for so many years now, is to go to India with him and just spend like 2 weeks just like eating food and just traveling around. So yeah, I cannot wait to come over, and if I got a competition while I was there, that would also be amazing. So yeah.
We all want you to come to India and compete, bro. Hopefully one day, and more than competing, we just want you to come to India. Just be familiarized with all the diverse culture we have. India is an amazing place, bro. You'd love it, especially with the food. Oh my god, like you'd go crazy, bro. So we are all eager to welcome you to India one day. Hopefully, see you very soon. And thank you so much for taking your time, bro. I know like you're competing tomorrow, and you have generously given me your precious time of yours the day before the evening before the competition. So grateful to you. So kind of you, brother. We have from all the Indian fans out there, on behalf of all Indian fans out there, I just wish you all the very best for your Diamond League tomorrow and Paris Olympic Games. Hope you saw the New Zealand flag high at Paris, and best wishes to you, bro.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on as well. It's been really good chatting to you, and yeah, good luck for your injury rehab as well. And I'm sure in the next games we'll be seeing you there as well.
Hopefully next year we'll definitely meet in the circuit, bro. 2025. Yeah.
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
Thank you so much, brother. Means a lot.